Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how you can beat the Cell Max event in 5 turns or less. The Cell Max event, obviously very tough event, but with the two latest units that have come out, being Gohan and being Piccolo, and both of them being advantageous units against Cell Max, generally speaking, it's become a lot easier to beat Cell Max. As I've shown, you can beat them pretty much with any old team as long as you take one of these units in. And also, yeah, to cut a long story short, beating the events in under 8 turns is not too hard now, and beating the events in under 5 turns is relatively decent as well. Now, it is still challenging. You still need the right kind of conditions to fall into place, but generally speaking, as long as you have one of the two new ally units, you should be able to beat it in under 5 turns, even if they're at 55%, pretty easily. I've gone with a double Gohan strategy. You can do Gohan Piccolo, you can do Piccolo Gohan, Piccolo Piccolo, Gohan Gohan, like you can do whatever arrangement you think works best, honestly. It's really not too much of an issue, if I can speak plainly. Like, it's really not going to cause you guys that much of a problem. But yeah, in general, I would say it is fairly, like, simple from there. Obviously, having support units, etc. will help. I think B-Pan for this strategy does help a lot. Without getting too deep into it, B-Pan's damage augment is very, very good here. And so I really like what it does to the team and how it helps overall with the team and the damage and everything. The main thing that you want to factor in here is that you need to take only 1 turn on one stage and 2 turns on the other stage. So for example, if you are doing if you are currently working on the strength cell stage, you want that to take 1 turn and then 2 turns on the physical one, because you have to get to the final stage basically at the 4th turn or later, for a lot of the active skills to take effect. Unless you've gone with a full superheroes team, then you're able to activate the active skills anyway. But yeah, generally speaking, it's all fairly simple. For the Gohan team, you want to be front loaded with more superheroes units than not. That way you can activate his active skill, and he does need it to finish him off. Whereas if you're going double Piccolo strategy, it's actually just a lot more straightforward, if I can speak honestly. There's a lot less that you have to factor in, because Piccolo's entire thing of being just really good in his giant form is a lot more prevalent than Gohan's. With Piccolo in just his giant form, you can achieve a lot more. He's a lot stronger. He just does a lot in general. So yeah, that is something I would say is you don't have to really consider in the Piccolo team. With Paikuhan, which I'm bringing, it's more so for a stall. It allows us to have 1 free turn of damage without having to consider tanking options, which is pretty good. It is something that does help out. So yeah, in general, I would say there is some really different units you can bring in here. I wouldn't say this is the only team build that works, but I would say this is probably my minimum build I would say you need to bring in. You can replace Int Pan with any kind of 30% support, but the main thing you're going to want here is at least some way to get the Gohans their damage off in situations where you don't have the right lineup. The Gohans getting key and getting damage is the most important thing, as they're going to be the ones that essentially carry the front load of all the work here, and you can see that with Gohan and just how much damage he's doing. If you've got their active skills, use it. The attack effective against all types helps a lot, like a lot. So make sure that you do that, and you shouldn't really have any problems otherwise. Honestly speaking, from there it's a pretty straightforward process. I don't think there's anything really that's too much to point out. If you're using if you're using Piccolo, if you're using Piccolo, then just consider that with Piccolo, he as a unit is incredibly good like incredibly good. But you want to make sure that you have one on each rotation so that you can giant form into giant form. And generally speaking, you probably need a dupe more in Piccolo than you do in Gohan, although with Gohan you need more fortuitous circumstances, because Piccolo needs to be able to crit to kind of manifest both giant forms working DPS wise. But beyond that, yeah, you should be fine. Everything else you should be fine. It does require, well, at least the strategies I found here do require you to have one of these LRs. Personally speaking, it does tend to make life a lot easier. Obviously, if people have found a way to do it without them, that's fantastic. And I'll try and post a video of doing it without them as well. But I genuinely think that it's easiest, like it's going to be a lot easier to do it this way than any other way, if that makes sense. But yeah, again, to each their own. Obviously, it's just going to depend on like you and how you're finding things, and yeah, just in general. Pretty much your box, obviously, as always, is going to determine how well you find these things. But for me personally, I do think there's a fair amount of decent like options for players here. I just think that the easiest way is to have one of the units. If you've got them, then you probably can do this fairly easily. If you don't, then it's a lot harder. I have tried with one a lot. It gets close, but I kind of get to like the turn 6 mark. If you've got some super high damage units that can clear out the event, maybe the gods and some units like that, you could definitely clear out the first phases and just use one friend lead. I don't have the gods, so that does limit me a little bit, but yeah, this is just my team build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, obviously I hope you leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. But until then, as always, I hope you enjoyed. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, thank you so much for watching, and bye.